Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. I hope by now you understand just how important it is to get in touch with your inner being. Because if you're not, you'll be pulled out of your center by people and situations and start living their life rather than your own. Your inner being is your guide and truth. So how do you get in touch with your inner being? I'm going to explain to you exactly how you do that in today's video. But before I do, thank you everyone who subscribed to my channel for supporting the Thriver mission and realizing and sharing that we can heal for real from abuse now. And if you like this video, please like and share it with others who you know it can help. Okay, so on with today's episode. All right, let's start off with this topic. How it's normal to not be in touch with your inner being. It's frighteningly normal not to be in touch with your inner being, but in no way is this natural. I completely and utterly believe that our essential nature is to be at one with ourselves and then have the capacity to be at one with others and all of life. So how did we get disconnected from ourselves? It happened as a result of trauma because of taking on the impregnated beliefs that we were defective and damaged and that we were not loved as we are and that we have to earn our very way to love and acceptance. And of course, there have been incredible atrocities in the collective human history that have created internal anxiety, fear, and depression. Because of this, it can be terrifying to go inside. Who would want to settle into an inner landscape that resembles a war zone? Naturally, this created us as beings trying to find salvation outside of ourselves. Yet no matter how many possessions we accumulate or beauty treatments that we may have, or people who we may have intimate and sexual relationships with, the same problem remains, which is I don't feel at one with myself. I can't be with myself in times of need and self-soothe and bring myself to wholeness. Which of course means I have to try to keep medicating with something outside of myself to try to feel sane and okay. Can you see the terrible trap that most of humanity has been stuck in throughout the centuries? Let's have a look at the mistake most people make. And I really feel compelled to talk about this because this is exactly what I used to do too. Because we've been indoctrinated into systems that attempt to manage symptoms rather than healing ourselves deeply at our core, it's no wonder that we've tried to get in touch with our inner being, if we are courageous enough, in a really painful way, while we are still battling our trauma and the unregulated emotions and thoughts that go with the trauma. This is like trying to sail a ship that has holes in the hull and continually having to bail out the water rather than being able to just sail healthily forward. I used to be addicted to self-development, meaning that every morning I would meditate, say affirmations, chant, do journaling and yoga, all sorts of things to try to be at one with my inner being. And absolutely these things helped, but the problem was I continually needed to do these things. If I didn't, then the anxiety, fears and depression would all come back. And the truth was it was exhausting. What I was really doing was attempting to manage my inner being. I wasn't healing it. When I finally did heal it for real with Quantum Freedom Healing, which is NARP, no longer did I have to do hours of self-managing. Eventually, there was simply less and less trauma existing inside of me to try to manage. It was gone. I've seen the same happen for other people, especially those who once declared, just as I did, "What? More inner work? I've been doing self-development for decades and I'm still not healed. Oh gosh, I remember saying that. I know a lot of you have too. I promise you that when you finally do free your inner being from trauma, you will come home to being able to be with your inner being inside of yourself without effort. It will feel peaceful and normal for you to be there. Let's have a look at how to really come back home to your inner being. There is only one way to achieve this, by directing your attention inside you, your body, and working and dealing directly with your emotions. Not in a way that you judge yourself, not in a way that you get taken out by your emotions and spiral into even greater fear, anxiety, and depression, but in a way where you can be your own savior. Meaning, be the person in your life, and you are the only person who can be, who will rescue you from these impregnated traumas and beliefs that are not who you are. I want you to imagine this. If you had a home that was filled with parasites or vermin that was destroying it, would you face this? Of course, you would do all that you can to have your house cleansed and released from these invaders. I promise you that your inner being is no different. If you have accumulated trauma from your family, DNA history, your childhood, and the repeat patterns and traumas that have continued to show up in your life as an adult, then you may have reached toxic overload. And this is when life is getting worse, not better. This is when you are dissolving rather than evolving. This is why you are disintegrating rather than integrating back home to yourself. There is only one solution for this. Clean up the internal toxic overload. I promise you with all of my heart that my previous levels of toxic trauma within my inner being that caused my emotions and thoughts to be broken and irreparable meant that unless I had got rid of my toxic overload, I would never have recovered. In fact, I wouldn't have survived. And that's exactly what, thank goodness, I learned how to do. Meet and release that toxic internal overload. And once I had released myself from this inner toxicity, I discovered I could reside with my inner being as my best friend, lover, healer, confidant, and supporter. It became easy and healthy for me to hang out inside myself. So I cannot recommend enough. Stop trying to come back home to yourself when your inner landscape is uninhabitable. What is really necessary is to face and meet the inner parts of you that are traumatized, to release them and reprogram them. And then the constant battle is over. And yes, of course, this is challenging and even terrifying. But what choice do we have if we really want to go free into peace, happiness, and success? These things can only be generated from within. If you are really ready and you know that you need to come home to your inner being, I want you to pause this video and write below inner being, and then use an endearing term such as sweetheart or darling and really mean it. So you're going to go inner being, endearing term, I am coming to you. Okay, so I hope that this has helped profoundly. I know that I've been explaining this to you over and over in so many different ways, and maybe this is the episode that really clicks into place for you. If you are ready to take this journey with me back home to yourself and your inner being, I'd love you to join me by clicking the link at the top right of this video. I can't wait to help you achieve that. And as always, I look forward to answering your comments and your questions below. And you know how it goes. Keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because there is nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.